This is Controlling Gaming. I am in KN, and I'm here joined with Soren. Say hello.
Hey, everybody.
Right now, we're going to let you know everything you need to know about StarCitizen, what the game is, how it plays, what you're going to expect, what you're going to, get if you play this game. If you do not know anything about this game, this is the perfect video for you. Or if you do know a bit about it and you might want to understand more about it, this is also most likely the video for you. We got a lot of information and we're going to just lay it all out there for you to check it out and whatnot. So yeah, I guess we'll just get started then. All right, we're gonna go off of a list, so this should be pretty easy. We're gonna start off with the genre. So Soren, what's up with the genre? What type of genre is this game?
Well, it's mostly an MMO sandbox. StarCitizen takes place in the future, about 800-900 years. So you've got that futuristic aspect. It's got a bunch of FPS and fighter combat. Main portion of the game will be you in a cockpit of some sort of ship. You've also got, it can be third person if you want it to. It's got a little bit of RPG in here and there, but you are going to be primarily in a ship, going around, having fun, doing whatever you want.
A lot of people actually call it a space Sims game, right?
That would be pretty appropriate.
Yeah. And also the sandbox for this game is, like, how big? Like, apparently the universe is just massive.
They have currently got, I think they've got 40 so far. By the time the game releases for the first run, they're planning to have 100 star systems. Systems, not planets. Systems.
We'll have some pictures up of a star system, and the fact that we're going to get multiple star systems is going to be quite amazing, and we mean a lot of star systems, so that's, like, a lot. That's a big number, I swear. Just going to have to take my word for it. So MMO, RPG, FPS, third person, flying game, it's a sandbox, it's a Sims, it's an MMO, it's everything you need it to be, right?
Yep.
Alright, so basically that's a lot of things. It's pretty cool. It has a little bit of everything.
It does have a little bit of everything for everybody. We'll go into details in a little bit, but as you'll see, I think anybody could be happy with this game. It's beautiful.
As you can tell, we are pro StarCitizen. But for the next category, let's talk about some of the lore in the game, just generally so you understand what's going on. You already said something about it taking place in the future.
Yeah, it's 900 years in the future, if I remember correctly, which I'm pretty sure I do. But as we go on, so your character is pretty much whatever you wanted to make. The game will... What's funny about StarCitizen is the campaign directly ties into the persistent universe. You could choose not to do the campaign, just jump into the universe, but the campaign, which is Squadron 42, it's the military campaign for the game, and when you first run the game, you can kind of, how do I say this? You've got your, it gives you benefits if you do the campaign.
Oh, does it really?
It does. Basically, you can earn your citizenship, which is a bunch of benefits for you. If you do the military campaign, I believe it's been said that you also get a bit more, bit larger amount of starting credits.
Ooh.
From your time in the military. So that is, they like giving you incentives for doing the campaign, but you don't have to if you don't want to. You can just dive right in. So that's a good aspect. If you don't like campaigns, you just want to jump in everything.
That's quite cool.
There is an option.
Maybe tell us a bit about them alien races.
All right, so currently there's 3 main alien races. There's a couple more, but they've been doing a lot of their focus currently on these 3, which are, you have the Banu Protectorate. They are kind of the main peaceful faction. A lot of trade going on. Not too much to deal with them yet, but they're kind of there. There's even a ship that players can own currently called the Banu Merchantman. So they're kind of the traders of the universe. You have the Xeon, which is number 2. We're at a state of Cold War with them. We're just kind of staring each other across the border. We're not at war yet, but there's tough tensions there. I'm sure the development team will have a lot of fun with that as the universe goes on. And then you have the main alien race you're going to be fighting always is the Von Duel, which are this tribal, aggressive alien race. We've been at war with them for, I think it's a couple hundred years now.
Damn.
Lore-wise, there's a lot of fun to be had there.
Well, there definitely should be. So next, let's talk about the game modes. And correct me if I'm wrong. Is it only the solo campaign that can also be co-op, and then the sandbox game where you play with everyone else? Is that it?
What do you mean by that?
Game modes. Like when you're at the main menu and you're selecting what you're going to do in the game, it's only the campaign and then the persistent universe.
Thus far, I believe that is correct. The campaign is also co-op. Your friends can jump in and out and take the places of your wingman in the campaign. And you can also play with your buddies and your outfit and your clan in the persistent universe. So those are the two main modes. Let's see, you've got... There's a lot of different subcategories in the game. You've got your fighter aspect. You can just walk around on a planet's surface. That's where you're going to get most of your missions and your social interaction. There's a boarding component to the game, which we'll go into a bit later. That's your FPS side, which is, according to the FPS side, it's meant to be very, very tactical and hyper-aggressive. So don't expect to stand in front of a hallway and live more than 2 seconds.
Got that Call of Duty health right there.
Not that Call of Duty health, 50 cal in the head, and you're still walking.
All right, next will be the servers. How are the servers going to be handled? Are there going to be multiple servers? What's up with that?
I don't think they've, from what I've heard, they haven't quite got a definitive answer for that. So far, it's looking like they're going to lean toward one super server.
That's cool.
Maybe a couple sub-servers here and there. But it's an instance engine is what they're trying to develop, where if I get in a battle, a large-scale battle, the computer is going to basically make our own little bubble here, a little bubble here, a little bubble here, trying to render everything, because in StarCitizen, each individual thruster on a fighter is rendered and actually does matter, because if you lose a engine or a thruster or a weapon, that will affect your ship. If, say for a Hornet, if you lose 2 of your thrusters on your left side, your turning is going to actually be affected in the game. So there is quite a bit of
information that needs to be computed by their servers.
Yes.
All right, so basically we're thinking 1 mega server. It will be divided between North America, South America, European, Oceanic, most likely like League of Legends.
I think that would be a good comparison.
I think that that'd be kind of a good summary of it. Now, the first-person aspect of the game. So we do have first-person. It is official. There is a FPS aspect. Let's talk about that.
All right, so the FPS portion of the game is primarily, or how I should say this, basically whenever you're going around, walking around, it's primarily first-person. You could choose it to be third-person, but when everyone talks about the FPS side of the game, they are talking about the boarding module, the boarding aspect of the game, where, say, I and my clan are going around, we're fighting, we disable an enemy ship, let's say an Idris, we cut the engines off an Idris, which is the smallest capital ship in the game currently. You can choose to board that ship and try to take control of it through several different means. They're still developing that a bit. But there is that aspect. You can choose to board ships. There's leaning toward they haven't quite got a definitive hold on it, but you can blow your ship up. You can ram your ship, which is hilarious.
Yeah, some ships actually have ramming devices.
Yeah, the Von Duel Scythe has a ramming blade on it.
Yeah. Also, on planets, that will also be, you'll have a lot of areas to go first person, correct?
Correct. You'll be walking around planet side, getting all your missions. It's all first person.
All right, then let's talk about the main aspect of the game, the ships.
All right, then. So currently, StarCitizen has a bunch of ships that we have access to. The starter ship for most people currently is the Aurora, which is the ultimate kind of do whatever you want with the ship. So it's your basic starter ship. But it looks like they do give you, from everything I've seen, it isn't half a bad starship. It's not like a lot of games where they give you this piece of junk and then you are forced to try to get out of it as rapidly as possible. I could actually see you keep eating Aurora for a little bit.
Especially with how customizable it is, right?
It's very customizable. It's got a fair number of upgrade slots. It could hold a nice bit of cargo upgraded, and you could make it a combat ship, a cargo ship.
What are some of the sizes of the ships, by the way?
Let's see here. Most of the ships are single man. Some ships like the Hornet or the Avenger or the Avenger Trial, which is in the campaign, have 2 seats. But as you go up, you have ships like the Freelancer, the Caterpillar, and the Constellation. Those ships are multi-crew. The Constellation, for example, has a 4-man crew with a little miniature fighter that comes with it. That is your kind of main mid-range ship. You and a couple buddies would probably man this thing. It's got a lot of use to it. Quite a bit of cargo capacity, 35 tons for the Constellation. A lot of upgrade, lots of things you can do with it. The Caterpillar is the flip side of the Constellation, much more of a combat piratey role from everything we've seen. Next, you kind of go up into the Starfarer, which is the game's cargo ship, able to hold 75 tons. And then finally, the largest ship a player can currently own before the Persistent Universe is the Idris Corvette, which is the pride of any outfit currently. It's beautiful.
It's a pretty massive ship.
It's a pretty large ship.
Most ships that are multiple, it takes multiple people to man. If you are just one person that want a big ship, you can still man it yourself, but you have to pay, I think, NPCs, or how does that work?
In the game, if, say it's just you and you manage to get the cash to afford, let's say, Constellation, you can hire NPCs in the universe to fly or gun your ship, so that way you don't have to have players with you. Just say maybe it's you and a buddy, and you want your buddy to fly escort while you're, flying the ship. You can hire NPCs to, like, say, man the turns on the Constellation.
Oh,
so that
cool.
is a definite plan you can do. If you don't want to fully man a ship, you can hire NPCs to do it.
I really hope you can get them upgraded over time.
Supposedly the plan is you kind of hire, it's kind of like real life, you hire the quality of your crew based on the cost you're willing to pay.
I understand.
So it's like, oh, I don't have a lot of money, I'm going to hire, like, fresh out of boot camp guy. Or I'm filthy rich, I'm going to hire this veteran 20-year expert over here. So that's how the NPC hiring is supposed to work.
All right. Now, guns on ships. Apparently, you can get tons of different types of guns, right?
There's a ton of different guns. These ships have a class weapon system, class type. Hardpoints. Basically, it's 1 to, I believe, 7 to 8. And most of the weapons will fit in these type of hardpoints on your ship. So most of your weapons are type 1, which is just a fixed weapon. Then you have the type 2s and 3s, which are oscillating turns or can rotate. Most of your weapons will fit in those. You have a ton of different stuff. You have the repeater style stuff. You have your neutron guns, which are meant to be the one-shot, hard-hitting weapon. Missiles are supposed to be incredibly important in the game. They are like most fighter aspects in a lot of games currently where you have an unlimited number of missiles and you shoot them out, but they don't actually do all that much. In StarCitizen, missiles are meant to be very, very powerful, but expensive one-use weapons.
That's cool. Now, when your ship goes down, or you finally get damaged, you eject, yeah?
Yes. Before your ship dies, you can eject. I don't know why you wouldn't, but you can eject. And what happens is you will spend so much time floating in space, watching everyone fight around you. But if, let's just say I'm in the middle of nowhere, my ship gets disabled because, I don't know, I ran into an asteroid, you will float there until somebody or the NPCs send a little rescue party after you, and I'm sure there will be a automated thing for that. But you'll just kind of float there.
That's crazy. And I remember the dude who made the game, what's his name?
Chris Roberts.
Yes,
This is a game by Chris Roberts, the guy behind Wing Commander and Freelancer.
He was saying that he would really like it if you didn't know if it was an NPC, a pirate, or, you know, some nice military dude. You don't know who's coming to pick you up, right? It's like it could be anyone.
It can be anyone. A player could come by and rescue you, or it could be an NPC. Currently, they're trying as hard as they can. This is a very, very well-experienced development team. Chris Roberts has hired some very, very, very well-experienced people to do this game. And they are trying as humanly possible to make the AI as realistic as possible.
And that's really nice. A lot of people will actually appreciate that. Now, one of the main aspects of the game, I mean something that's truly important, the work fields, like exploration, resource gathering, stuff like that. Let's hit all of those, go down the list, just really quick, say what it is, tell me a little bit about it.
All right, so let's start off with the main way of making money in the game. From what we've seen, will be cargo transportation. You can be a cargo hauler. Every ship in the game just about can hold a little bit of cargo. And it's almost like you just like say I'm going to this planet. Okay, I'm already on my way over there. I'll pick up some cargo and bring it over there. There is, let's see here. You have your piracy. Piracy is actually a field in this game. You can choose to be a pirate if you really want to.
Kind of like a mercenary, yeah?
Kind of like a mercenary, but you have piracy, and then you have your normal bounty hunting guys, which are meant to fight pirates. You can be hired to fight pirates. There are salvaging, exploration. Salvaging, you just go throughout the universe. It's like, hey, there's a derelict ship here. What can I salvage? Exploration. The universe will expand as the game goes on. Chris Roberts has already stated that. And they plan on sticking with this game for quite some time. So what happens at the exploration is you could just go around, this is pretty, but it actually does have a in-game application where the universe uses these things called jump points, which are kind of like like a wormhole, yeah. And they're not all discovered. So as an explorer, you can go around trying to find these wormholes which haven't been discovered yet, and map it out so where you can safely jump it.
Expand the known universe and all that.
Right, you can't kill yourself though. There is the flip side of that, where if you don't jump or map it correctly, you can disintegrate.
Dang. Let's not forget it's going to be really dangerous. You never know what alien species you might run into.
Or you could run into the Von Duel or whoever, or pirate. So there is always that little bit of danger there. There's stealth aspects. The game combat system revolves around many, many, many different things. Heat generation is one of them. You could try to reduce your infrared signature
by getting a smaller engine.
Like a smaller engine. Yeah. They even have ships dedicated for stealth. There's information running to where it's kind of like cargo hauling, but for information much more. They haven't gone into that too much, but so far what we've seen, it seems like cargo hauling, but for information. There's so many different things you can do in this game that
really make it almost worth playing. You're going to find something that you like.
You're going to find something you can do.
Alright, so let's talk about some actual tangible gameplay. What have we seen already in the game, and how does it look so far? How far have they gotten in the game? What's there for us to check out?
Alright. At the end of August, they came out with the first portion of the game, which is the hangar module. The hangar module is going to be like the player's little home, where his ship is stored. You're going to have it's kind of like your little house in space. And so far, currently, it doesn't actually do that much because they're still currently working on it. But you can sit in your ship. You can see every aspect of the ship. You can see the textures and the graphics of the game. Coming in March or April, which is the tentative time, we will see the dogfighting module, which is the fighter aspect of the game. You can fight like NPCs, or
other
after
players.
A couple of weeks, they said your outfit can fight other people.
Ooh.
And it's really trying to get the balance between all the ships right is what they're trying to work more toward. But we will see that in a couple months.
Yes. Also, death in the game. How is that handled? Because I know when you're out, fighting and stuff like that, your ship actually goes down, you accidentally don't hit that eject button, or someone shot it and you can't use it, you blow up. How does that work?
The death in this game, unlike most games, you have a sense of permadeath in StarCitizen. If your character, I don't know, let's say he was on an Idris and the Idris blows up and you didn't get off in time, your character will permanently die. However, it is said that you don't lose your character account, but the character itself dies. And there's a bunch of ways it could go on. Like you could have your kid take over, or Chris Robert said you could, like, I don't know, clone your person. Your character can actually take real life physical damage during the course of your career. Like, say I was in a boarding action and my arm got mauled. You now can replace your arm with a robotic arm, and your character will walk around with that robotic arm until whatever happens. So there is that sense of whatever you do in game matters to your character.
Get that sense of pride.
Get that sense of pride.
And that's really cool. Also, when you die, I thought that some of your assets, like let's say you made business partners over the years, your, let's say clone, let's say I never got lucky with the ladies, my clone would get some of the beneficiaries, from my recent expeditions, but he wouldn't get all of them, right?
Right. What, like, say, for example, my character's gone around and let's say I run the same trade route, I work with the same people, you can rate your fellow players on the job they do based on, like, say you and me are playing for a while and we get to know each other, but we're not actually members of any organization. You can rate each other and actually get an increase in your status, like your star rating. You could get a better star rating to get more money for the jobs you do because you are now much more valued. However, if your character dies, if I go back to say, now it's no longer you but an NPC, I don't know your kid, which is now your character, so you don't have that same interaction anymore. So that can affect your business.
But you're still most likely allowed to trade there just because, well, your father was a cool guy.
Right. It's like, oh, you're his son. I'll give you some jobs, but I don't really know you anymore.
Got to rebuild up that trust.
Until you build up that trust.
So planets, a little bit more in depth. What exactly is on planets that makes us want to go there?
Well, just first of all, a lot of these planets are extremely beautiful. The videos they've shown, which are all in engine, are quite spectacular. Planets will be the main area you get your missions from, where you unload your cargo. There will be orbital space stations where you have your you will have orbital space stations you can go to. On the planet, which is the planet side portion of the game, you can land your ship, go around, have your social interactions, your mission undertakings, and that's the main reason to go to a planet, is just to get your next job or interact with your fellow players.
Maybe even kill someone.
Or kill someone. They have said that on certain planets you will, like certain lawless planets, there will be constant fighting, and if you really want to, you could land there and have fun.
Planets also have a black market. Let's talk about that.
There is a black market for the pirates, to where certain planets and areas are completely dedicated to piracy. There is, I believe it's called Cathcart, yes, where the entire area is nothing but pirates, kind of all mashed into one super space station. And if you choose to go in there, then, well, make sure your hand's on your sidearm the whole time.
Gotta go in there like a bounty hunter, like Boba Fett.
Like Boba Fett. You're walking into Mos Eisley and just watch your back there. But there is a black market. There's a normal market, which all the players can influence based on their actions. The market is completely player
player driven.
You can player driven. Thank you. To where, let's say I'm a pirate. Yeah, from the example that Chris Roberts has given us. Say I'm a pirate and I raid a convoy bringing supplies to a factory. those supplies don't get to the factory, and whatever that factory is making no longer has the parts to make, so prices of that product will go up. However, that factory might hire a player to go deal with the pirate, which will create jobs for players to deal with piracy, so that the convoys now get to the factory. And all that stuff can fluctuate based on player interactions.
Now let's talk a little bit about organizations. What are they? How can I benefit from them? And is this like a clan system?
This is the equivalent in StarCitizen to a clan system. The clan is a large group of players, your organization, to where they all interact, they all do a similar job in StarCitizen. Like, say, my clan, our main goal is to make money, go around, just enjoy the universe. Very kind of convoy system. Don't mess with us. No. But basically, the main reason to be a part of an organization is the constant access to fellow players that you can do jobs with, but also your clan, like most games, will have a group funding or a group bank, which you can use to purchase things in game, like larger ships or upgrades for ships, or even just subtle money-making things like stocks. The best thing I can describe it as a stock for the group to make more money, to make other stuff. So generally, it is a good idea to be part of an organization. But if you don't want to, it doesn't really adversely affect you. You can just go on and enjoy the universe by yourself.
Also, if you're floating in space after you've ejected, maybe you can call up your teammate and be like, "Hey, dude, come on, save me. I'm gonna die."
I think that would be a good thing.
I think that'd be a good thing too.
Just floating around. Hey, man, can I get the pickup now?
All right. Now, you did already talk a tiny bit about the economy in the game. So let's say a planet is a factory that creates. We'll use the same example that has already been used in a current video. It's a missile-making factory. Tell us how that factory, acts and how players can affect the economy.
Okay, so throughout the universe, you will have these various, for example, factories, and they will create jobs for the players because this factory will need materials from planet A. So they'll say, you're on your planet, and on the planet it's like, hey, I need you to get me 20 tons of this guidance system. So it's like, okay, you'll accept the contract, go to planet A, go back to the factory, and that constant flow will generate money for the players and keep the price of the missiles stable. However, say that pirate comes in and he attacks the player, and then there's no longer that chain there, the price of the missile will go up. However, the factory will then go, hey, I have a pirate problem. I need someone to deal with it. And say another player comes to the planet, it's like, hey, I'm a mercenary, I'll take your contract.
No,
so,
bounty hunter, bounty hunter.
Okay, bounty hunter. Bounty hunter goes to the planet. Okay, so he goes to deal with the pirate, but let's say it's a big piracy. Let's say it's an organization doing this because they really think there's a lot of money to be made raiding this convoy that's going back and forth for this missile factory. So now they'll need to hire a bunch of players to deal with this. So missile production in neighboring systems will go up because now there is a need to buy more replacement missiles because all these bounty hunters are now trying to hunt this large pirate organization. So one small action can rapidly change a large group or a large area of the universe.
And that's quite nice. Also, on the planet, the show floor the place where you go down to buy your missiles, if they're not getting enough materials to make the missiles, well, prices may go up, and they may be running out of stock, and that's not cool. You can actually affect a planet so much that that planet actually ends up going bankrupt, I think.
You can. They haven't said too much about that currently. However, you can definitely hurt. Like, say that factory can't go out of business.
Oh, also, NPCs will be making their rounds, and also the universe itself naturally keeps afloat. Like, NPCs will be delivering cargo. NPCs will also be bounty hunters. NPCs do all the jobs that we do. Like they said, they're trying to really make a seamless distinction. You won't be able to tell who's who, right?
Correct. The NPCs will be the main influence behind the universe, but player interaction will drastically change what jobs and what happens inside the universe. It isn't like the AI may keep the game running, but the players are what's going to create the universe.
All right.
Whatever happens is mostly going to be player driven.
And now let's talk about space stations. What are they? How can I rule my own Death Star?
Okay, space stations are mostly going to be organization owned. So say I have my org gets enough money, we buy a space station. Space stations, from what we've seen from Chris Roberts, are going to be a major way of creating cash because let's say I own the only space station above a planet and this is the only place to dock your ship. Well, then you could create docking fees for your ship or cargo transfer, and you could rapidly make a lot of money from this. But however, other organizations can take that away from you. So you're going to want to keep what you have here. So some stations might be mostly business oriented. Some space stations can be more military. Like say I'm on a fringe border world, well, this station might be more of a security place. So there's a lot to be done there. They haven't gone into too much detail yet, but space stations are going to have a big role in the game.
That'll be clan headquarters if you're looking for one.
Yeah, clan headquarters.
Also, how much money has this game actually raised as of right now? Like, this game has raised so much money, it should end up, like, whoa, let's just talk about that for a second.
Okay, StarCitizen originally started as a simple crowdfunding. Chris Roberts, I only wanted, like, I believe the original goal was 500,000, but he was hoping for, like, 2, maybe 3 million, hopefully. He was crossing his fingers. But StarCitizen currently, as of February the 9th, has raised $38,287,679.
Jumping by the day drastically, by the way.
Jumping by the day. 2 days ago, it was at just barely breaking 38, and now it's 28% to the next $1 million stretch goal.
Dang.
StarCitizen, it's made so much money, all in crowdfunding. That's all in crowdfunding. It's broken every world record in history for crowdfunding.
Could you also compare the game to other AAA titles out there? Like, how much money they have so far in comparison to other games?
Okay, for most AAA games, you know, all these major publishers like EA, Activision, you've got Blizzard, most of your games, those AAA super titles, run in the $30 to $40 million range. And that's the entire game. StarCitizen is, they've raised all this money in a little over a year since they started the crowdfunding goal, and it's not even in alpha yet. So it's stupid amounts of money that they've raised, and it's just continuing to go on and on and on with no end in sight.
And with all the talent that they've hired, all the money that they're going to raise, all the money that they are going to raise, even if they fail or don't deliver a game, you know, as good as what we're talking about, it'll still be super amazing due to the amount of money that they've spent.
They do have access to a lot of funding. Funding isn't usually in most games when a game developer makes a decision, it is based on how can we get something good for as cheap as possible. StarCitizen is how can we do something good, period. They have access to funding. Funding is usually the problem at the death throw of most games. Just saying, usually money is a factor. In this game, money is still a factor. It's always going to be a factor, but they definitely have a bit more leeway with what they can do in the game because of how well they've been funded.
All right. Let's also talk about the computer specs required to play this game, because, I mean, this game may end up being like Crysis 3 status, where I put it in my computer, and all of a sudden my computer just melts. So I don't want to spend my money on nothing.
Right. StarCitizen, they're basing the game itself, the game requirements, for 2 years in advance. So if you've got a real high quality computer now, that's usually what you'll take to run the game on higher graphics, but it's actually got a relatively low minimum system requirements. I think I'll let you go into that.
All right. Windows 7 or 8, 64-bit, dual-core CPU, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and, well, there's a bunch of technical stuff, but what it means generally is a decent graphics card. And most gamers who are enthusiastic about games and play them a lot will already have a really good computer, so it won't even matter. Like, the things that I'm saying is trivial. But you shouldn't really worry about the system requirements, I don't feel.
No, you shouldn't really worry about minimum system requirements. It's, however, the amount of detail that they're putting into the engine. This does run on the Cry engine, the very newest. Like Crysis, if you thought Crysis was beautiful, they are taking this to a whole new level.
And I feel like they're cheating, by the way, making it a space game. It's easy to make space look beautiful.
That's actually true. But it's definitely a beautiful game. So the minimum requirements themselves aren't that taxing to most computers, but I'm sure that once you download this game, you are going to see the beauty that is StarCitizen, and you will instantly want to upgrade your computer. It's that fantastic.
All right, now, we've got them hyped, or we've got them pissed. I don't know. But one thing's for sure, they need to know how much this game actually costs, the pay model. So let's give it to them like that.
Okay, StarCitizen for most games is relatively cheap to get into because it is pre-alpha. You can get the basic Aurora with alpha and beta access for $40. That gives you an Aurora, a little bit of starting cash, access to all the modules between now and when the game starts. I'm pretty sure it also gives you the game itself. I would have to double check that. But it definitely is relatively cheap to get into, considering most AAA level titles now cost you $60 minimum. Now, you can also get better ships from that, ranging, and you can go bonkers with the amount of money you could spend on this game. But if you just want the game itself and then buy all these ships in the universe itself, it's $40 gets you the game. After that, you can get much more ships. The next level ship, which is the 300i packages, will run you about $55-$60, which is most AAA titles, and then you just go nuts. The Hornet goes into 120, and so on and so forth.
15,000.
No.
You can though. You can.
You can.
Let's just say 40. End of story.
Yeah, $40 gets you the game.
There is a $30 version, but you don't get alpha or beta access.
Right, there is the $30, which gives you the game, but I don't offer beta, so might as well just spend the extra $10.
Also, a really quick question. When is the game expected to release?
It's expected to release in the first quarter of 2015.
First quarter 2015. Thank you. Thank you very much. We also needed that. So, sorry if we missed anything. That was basically the entire list of stuff that we had. Sorry the video took so long. I hope that informed everyone on what they need to know. And yeah, again, I was joined here with Soren. Thank you very much.
No problem, man.
And his outfit. You can, kind of I just want to give him a shout out just because he helped me so much with this video. So.
All right, no problem, man. If you guys are interested in this, check out Caesar Spirit on the organization page on StarCitizen. The tag is CASR, and we would be happy to have anyone who's willing to join us. We're a multi-gaming community eager to have some active players such as yourself. So thank you for watching.
Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, anything that makes you sleep at night. Also, just like Soren said, thank you for watching.